You see what I'm saying? This is what Dodge should have been building with the 2024 Dodge Charger all-electric muscle car. This is the type of technology that they should have given us. And I would be perfectly fine, and you would too. Unfortunately, Chevy did it first, and they did it the best. 2026 Chevy Corvette ZR1X. That's right, X as an X-ray, X as an X-rated, X as in 1,250 horsepower in an all-wheel drive platform with the flat plane 5.5 liter V8, twin turbo V8 with an electrified motor on top of it. And when you put those two things together, you get absolute power. 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Quarter mile under 9 seconds. It doesn't get any better than this, man. This right here is how you bridge the past with the V8 with the future of electrified motors. And when you put those two things together, you get absolute power. This is what Dodge should have been doing, but Chevy did it first. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in a house that makes this house vlog. You know what's going down from around. Let's get into it. I got car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, and police chases on this channel. So if you're into that, man, make sure that you stick around. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So I'm not even going to waste your time. Let's just get into it. Chevy, that's right, Chevrolet just dropped the news yesterday that they were not only giving us the ZR1, which was already the most powerful car that any of the big three have ever built. And when I say big three, I'm talking about Mopar, Ford, and Chevy. Even more powerful than the Demon, which was 1,025 horsepower, and the ZR1 was 1,064. It was lighter. I believe it's all-wheel drive. Correct me if I'm wrong. All-wheel drive, it's lighter, and it's more powerful. It's a Demon killer. Demon 170 killer easily. That wasn't enough for Chevy. Chevy, that wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. The first ZR1s are just now hitting Dodge or dealership lots. I was about to say Dodge. The first ZR1 are already hitting dealership lots at this point. I think the first one, the VIN number 001, is actually in North Carolina. I think it's in Charlotte, North Carolina, to be real with you. But we got the first one. And out of nowhere, Chevy says, you know what? Let's take it to another level. ZR1X. And you wonder what the X is for? I'm about to tell you right now. There it is right there. New 2026 Corvette ZR1X. Let's look at the power here. 1,250 horsepower. Let me say that again, 1,250 horsepower. And the reason why it says combined is because this is not just a twin turbo V8 5.5 liter engine like the ZR1. This has the electric technology on top of it. Big V8, iPhone right on top of it. That's what this engine is right now. Bridging the gaps between the future and the past to give you absolute power. Under 2 seconds for the 0 to 60, which is stupid. Under 9 seconds for the quarter mile. I believe that. You can see the little asterisk right here. So that means that there are some criteria that has to be met. Probably a perfectly prepped drag strip along with radial tires, all that stuff, because you know, like I know, that these cars, even though they're, I guess in this situation, all-wheel drive, it probably still prone to spinning. You know what I mean? But what's most important is this right here, all-wheel drive technology, electrified with twin turbo boost. That's what's most important. That right there is bridging the future of electrified motors with the past of your traditional ICE motors. Let's keep going. Corvette Chief Engineer ZR1X brings learnings from the ZR1 and the E-Ray to create an unmatched driving experience. So the ZR1 is what we just talked about, which was that, matter of fact, I could show you better than I could tell you. 1,064 horsepower with twin turbo 5.5 liter V8. You know what I mean? Naturally aspirated. That was for the Z06, I'm sorry. Top speed 215. So that was just a big V8. And of course, the E-Ray is nothing but electrified power. The ZR1 and the E-Ray in one car, ZR1X, that's what you get there. Performance, turbocharged LT7 engine with an electric front drive unit, work in harmony, delivering unrelenting power and instant torque. Instant torque. That's the one thing that those electric cars have over muscle cars or any kind of car outside of electrified motors, is that when you hit the gas, they just go. You don't hear nothing, they just go. You know what I'm saying? There's no buildup, they just go. There's no supercharger, there's no turbocharge. Well, in this case, it is a twin turbocharge, but they just go to give you that instant torque. With the advanced all-wheel drive technology, the ZR1X offers precision handling for ultimate driver confidence, which is something you're damn sure not getting in the Demon. Elevating Corvette to the next level as a true American hypercar. Not a supercar, not a sports car, hypercar. With this kind of power, we're talking about hypercar. LT7 5.5 liter DOHC V8 engine. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 5.5 liter V8. V8 at the bottom, twin turbo with the flank plane crankshaft, electric drive unit, front axle horsepower and torque. Now, don't get me into the specifics of how that works. I don't know. Let's see here. With the 1,064 horsepower and 828 pound-feet of torque, this small block engine, okay, so 1,064 of it is the engine itself. And then the remaining portion is the electric motor on top of it. So basically, it's a ZR1 engine, ZR1 body to some degree, with that electric battery and shit on top of it. On engine, charge air coolers, electronically controlled, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then the transmission. Maybe Chevy hasn't worked that out on the page yet. You know, so much power, they don't have time to talk about the transmission. Let's go to the battery. There's the battery right there in the middle. Battery, a 1.9 kilowatt lithium ion battery electrifies the ZR1 for the first time, powering the electric drive unit that controls the front wheels. Battery energy for the ZR1X was expanded by 26% compared to the E-Ray. So it's a bigger, more powerful battery than that in the E-Ray. So they're giving you a bigger V8 engine, or just as big of a V8 engine as the ZR1. And then they're giving you a bigger battery on top of it, enabling more consistent track lapping. The self-charging battery system features integrated power electronics for maximum responsiveness, efficiency, and performance. Harnessing 1,000, see, I told you guys, harnessing 1,064 horsepower from the LT7 engine, which is from the ZR1, plus an additional 186 horsepower from the electric front drive unit. The ZR1X achieves a combined total. See why I told you? I see why I said combined. When you combine those two power units, you get 1,250 horsepower, making it the most powerful production Corvette ever. They took the LT7 engine from the ZR1, and then they threw a big ass battery on top, even bigger than the Chevy Corvette E-Ray. Why? I mean, let's just keep looking at it. With the all-wheel drive, all-wheel drive is capable of extraordinary performance, intelligent all-wheel drive controls that have pushed the vehicle's dynamics, yada, 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 yada. Are you interested in the survey? No, I am not. Look at this motherfucker right here. Look at this body. Look at all these cuts. Look at this shit right here. More cuts and knives in this thing than a Vector starting kit. You know what I mean? A Vector cutlery kit. You remember when everybody was in high school and Vector tried to get everybody to sell cutlery from door to door, and they wanted you to sell silverware? Well, cutlery is what they call it, but it was nothing but silverware. Yeah, more knives and cuts than that. Look at all the aerodynamics. Nothing about a Dodge Demon is doing that. A Dodge Demon is a brick on wheels. There is no such thing as aerodynamics with the Demon. Look at this. Carbon fiber components. Look at the rear window. Look at the side skirts, hood flow, all sorts of air coming through. I actually like this color right here. This is the carbon fiber aero package. Jesus, look at that. Interior. They changed the interior around so that it's a little more driver focused than it is passenger focused. Look at that. Look at that interior. Like nothing but screens. Tell me you don't feel like a F-22 pilot inside of this Corvette. All of this shit lighting up and all these screens and stuff. Look at this. It tells you everything. G-force, tires. That's one thing I love about Chevy. Chevy always told you how hot your tires were, whether your tires were warmed up or whether they were hot, whether they were cold. I remember my homeboy had a ZL1 Corvette. Not Corvette, I'm sorry, ZL1 Camaro. And I remember going through his settings and his shit had the tire temperature. And I'm like, why doesn't Dodge do that? That would be good to know. Like, that would be really good to know. You're on the track and you want to know whether or not your tires are warmed up and you can start beating on it. And then, of course, you got the ESLD coupling, which I would assume is specific to the electronic motor, letting you know whether or not it's ready or whether or not it's charged. I don't know how all of that works. I mean, performance track management. This whole side screen right here is strictly for, I guess, the equivalent of Dodge's SRT pages. This would be the ZR1 pages, I would assume. All of this shit is in here, man. Let's go to this other one. This other one here is the most over-the-top model to ever be sold from the factory. It pairs the regular ZR1s, I told you that, LT7 V8, with the more improved version of the E-Ray's hybrid system. and it'll be available sooner than you think. Chevy is planning to put the ZR1X on sale by the end of 2025. So by the end of this year, you would be able to go ahead and drop, an order for it. Now, the funny thing is to my understanding, they just released the ZR1 to dealerships like within the last month or so. Because I believe North Carolina, like I told you guys in the beginning, I believe North Carolina was one of the first ones to get the ZR1. And now they're already running it back with the ZR1X. So this is the ZR1X. Look at this, just how aggressive this is. Like, come on now. Come on. The battery's 1.9 kilowatt gross capacity, 29% more. I think the last page said 26. 25%, 25 plus percent. You know what I mean? 186 horsepower, all of that stuff. All of it's right here. Look at the interior. Look at the interior. Sick. Sick. From some prospect of $250,000. Ooh. Now you guys tell me this. Clearly I'm not in the market for a ZRX1, but $250,000. I mean, there were people paying $250,000 for the Dodge Demon 170. So let's not act like $250,000 is a stupid price for an American, you know what I'm saying, an American supercar, or in this case, a hypercar. $250,000 for this, and you're getting 1,250 horsepower. Hey, listen, that may be reasonable. But ultimately, guys, the whole purpose of this video is to not only showcase at this point the most powerful American, I guess you could call it supercar, hypercar that's ever been produced, but this is how you do it the right way. I'm cool with this all day long. If I'm a Chevy guy and I'm a devoted Chevy Corvette guy, I'm not mad at this at all. I'm cool with the fact that the foundation is a 5.5 liter twin turbo supercharged or a turbocharged V8 engine. And then on top of that, you give me the E-raised, more improved battery propulsion system to give me that 1,200 horsepower. I'm cool with that all day long. All day long. In fact, I'm bragging about it. I'm bragging about the fact that I've got the electrified technology on top of my V8. So you get the sound, you get the power of a V8, but you also get the benefit of having that electric component on top of it. You know what I mean? That instant torque. So when you pull up next to a Tesla, or I guess you could say an all-wheel drive Dodge Charger, even though I don't know if you're pulling up on one of them because nobody's buying them. But if you pull up on one of these cars, that instant torque doesn't mean shit when it comes to their cars because you got it too. This is how Dodge should have done it if you ask me. 6.2 liter V8 supercharged Hemi at the bottom, and then an electrified propulsion system or, electrified motor on top. You already made 1,025 horsepower with nothing but the V8. Imagine what you could have done when you put an electric motor on top of it. We're easily talking, I don't know, by that math, 1,400 horsepower. If Chevy's able to make 1,250, I'm sure Dodge could have made 1,400. You know what I'm saying? That's the right way to do it if you ask me. I'm perfectly fine with that all day long. I don't need to look under my hood of my car and just see a big V8. Like those days, I get it. We're moving towards the future and we got to future-proof ourselves. I get it all day long. And it's one of those things like we can't keep using V8s until, 2050 and 2060. I get at some point, all of our engines are basically going to be this. It's just basically going to be an iPhone or some sort of, electric device that's under the hood. I get that. But at the same time, you can't just skip the steps and think that you're going to be the first to the party and leave everybody else behind. It doesn't work that way. Chevy did it the right way. V8, electric motor on top, 1,250 horsepower, all-wheel drive. This thing is going to smoke everything. I mean, Chargers, Challengers, Hellcats, Demons, ZR1s or ZL1s, GT500s, McLarens, Lamborghinis. I don't know anything that's fucking with this car right here. This is how Dodge should have done it. If Dodge did it this way, V8 motor, V8 Hemi, and then electric motor on top of it, I'm cool with that all day long. I'm cool with that. I don't need just strictly a V8 supercharged or naturally aspirated. I understand that we're in the future. I understand that you got to stay ahead of times. I understand that you got to modernize. I'm cool with that, right? If Dodge had done this in the Charger or the Challenger, I would have been cool with it all day long. I'm with it. Let's go. Full speed ahead. But the fact that they just tried to skip from a V8 to an electrified motor, no, you're skipping steps, and it doesn't work, and it didn't work. Nobody cares about the new Charger. This thing right here is beautiful, if you ask me. This right here is a monster. Now, I've never driven seriously an electric car. I've driven a Tesla, like as a rental type deal, but I've never driven a 1,250 horsepower, electrified V8 type of car like this. So I don't know what are the pros and what are the cons. I don't know the whole process of does it need to be gassed up and charged. So I guess you're almost double dipping or something like that as far as your money is concerned. You're paying for a full tank of premium gas and then you got to come home and charge it and pay for that. I don't know how that shit works. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This looks great. Chevy is definitely controlling the traffic at this point, straight up and down. At one point, I thought it was Ford because Ford was just dropping V8s and everything. Big V8s, you know what I'm saying? Everything that Ford is dropping right now has a minimum of like 800 horsepower. You know what I mean? And there was one point where I thought Ford was running it, but I mean, with this new ZR1X, the ZR1 was bad enough, but the ZR1X takes shit to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Activate electric only stealth mode for quiet departure. This feature allows you to drive solely using electric power for 45 miles at speeds of 45 miles per hour. Stealth mode. So, all you guys that's got HOAs like me and your neighborhood hates your loud ass cold starts, put that bitch in stealth mode. As soon as you get out the neighborhood, V8. Chevy thought about it, man. Chevy fucking thought about it. And they did it the right way. 10 piston front brakes, 6 piston in the rear. They did it the right way, man. All electric all-wheel drive technology. They did it the right way. Now, granted, what I will say, and I'm sure some of you guys will say, there's a difference between Corvettes, Chargers, and Challengers. Corvettes have always been the sports car, the supercar, or as they call it now, the hypercar, whereas Chargers and Challengers have always been muscle cars. I get that. But at the end of the day, the engine technology should be consistent across the board. This is what Dodge should have done. This is what I think they should do, to be honest with you. You can give me a bigger Hemi, I'm fine with that. You can give me a bigger supercharger, I'm fine with that. You can give me a bigger, snout and all that good stuff, I'm fine with that. But if we really want to make serious power, it may be time for us to step into the future. If you can put an electrified motor on top of that V8 Hemi, nothing's stopping us, man. I'm cool with what Chevy did here. I hope that everyone else learns from it, specifically Dodge. Dodge, I hope you're out there taking notes because Chevy did it the right way. Talk to me, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. How do you feel about this, man? ZR1X taking it to the next level, 5.5 liter V8 Hemi, engine. I was about to say Hemi. 5.5 liter V8 engine under an electric drive unit, front axle horsepower and torque. I don't know how that works, but apparently the people at Chevy does. And that all combined 1,250 horsepower. Now, this car is probably going to be heavy as shit. No cap, it's going to be heavy. Between the engine itself, all the components of the engine, and then the bigger battery than the E-Ray, it's probably going to be heavy. And nowhere here does it mention the weight of this ZR1X. But I mean, at the end of the day, 1,200 horsepower all-wheel drive is still 1,200 horsepower all-wheel drive. Whether it's a 4,500 pound body, 5,000 pound body, it does not matter. Power is power. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me, guys. Tell me how you feel about this, man. Chevy has taken things to the next level. If you ask me, this is the right way to go into the future. But then again, that's just me. How do you feel about it? It's been your boy Knockout 360. I'm out. Peace.